Oh, hey Kiara. Nice to see you here bright and early. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Uh, kind of sleepy. But that's to be expected on a Friday, so... Yep, let's just go with that. It's to be expected on a Friday. But I'm hyped to begin the third Phoenix Wright game, so let's get to this. How you doing? Anyway. Just hanging around. Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, that's everything linked in Discord. Okay, webcam's working at least. BisectedBrioche has a face, confirmed. Or do I? Okay, it's picking up the game. So I'll just put that into performance mode. Okay, so how are audio levels? That's weird. Okay. Audio levels are good. Anyways, let's begin. Trials and Tribulations. Episode 1. Turnabout Memories. How'd I get into this mess? Why? Why did I do that? Oh, wait. That girl. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you, for your sake, if you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about her. Hey, Jan. Stop it. Don't talk about her like that. How's it going, Jan? You're just in time to see Phoenix Wright murder someone. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Even though this opening's making it look very clear that I possibly did. 5 years earlier, Mia Fey, second trial. April the 11th, 9:40 AM, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. It's finally time. I'm kinda nervous. I haven't done this voice for a while. Oh, Mr. Grossberg. Good morning. Mia, please calm yourself down. You're going to get yourself arrested for suspicious behaviour, you know. What are you talking about? I am relaxed, Mr. Grossberg. Look at me. I'm relaxed. Let go of my lapels. You obviously haven't got the temperament to be a lawyer. I'm so sorry. It's just that I'm so nervous today. Oh, that's right. This is your first time in the big leagues, isn't it? Well, never you fear, my dear. I'm Marvin Grossberg, I'm at your service.
Actually, this is my second time in court.
Still, you surprise me. What with your earnest request last night? Let me handle this case, you said, and quite forcefully too.
I just found out yesterday. About the case, I mean.
What? And you've already learnt all the relevant facts?
Well, about that. You see, I mean, of course I have. I think.
Oh dear.
Oh, yep, by the way, just so everyone knows, I finally, set up a URL thing for seeing the, for linking to Nick's RP channel for the, D&D game later, so that's there now.
Oh dear. In any case, don't let our client see you're so nervous. You see the poor young man in the pink sweater over there? That's our client. Good morning there, everyone.
Good morning. Try to keep smiling, Mia.
I just want to say, I'll give it all I've got. Yep, it'll be fine, no prob. Cough, achoo, achoo.
Oh, what's wrong? Did you have a cold or something, Mr. Rye?
Actually, it's right. Like the Flying Brothers. People screw us up all the time. And yes, I have a cold. That's what this mask is for. My doc says this way. I won't give it to anyone else. Be kind to others, he says.
Right, Mr. Wright.
You have nothing to fear in court today. If you are truly innocent, I promise I'll save you.
Please, let go of my shirt.
That's right, he's the one on trial, not you. He's the one who should be nervous. You need to stay strong for your client, Mia. My name is Mia Fay. I'm still pretty new at this lawyer thing. The first time I appeared in court was a year ago. But that trial traumatized me so badly, I thought I'd never set foot in another courtroom. It's been 1 year since then, and well, here I am again. Well, I'm sure the first trial's not going to be plot relevant at all, so might as well just forget about that. But this time I'm going to win. For my client and for myself. April the 11th, 10 AM, District Court, Courtroom number 2.
Court is now in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright, future Ace attorney.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution's ready, Your Honor. The defense today is Miss Mia Fay, was it?
Yes, Your Honor. Is there a problem?
I was under the impression that Marvin Grossberg was to be leading the defense.
Yes, well, you see, Mr. Grossberg had a bit of an emergency.
Emergency? But isn't that him standing there right next to you?
Hey, Frost Sugar Rush. Thanks for the follow. How are you doing today? Yes, well...
You're just a rookie. Are you sure you can really handle this?
Thanks for the giving the shout out, Kiara. Oh, Doom, eh? Was that the 2016 Doom or the original Doom? Don't let him scare you, Mia. Give him your toughest look. Of course, Your Honor. I think.
Well, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please.
Well. I can't believe a veteran like me has to spend his time babysitting a new defense lawyer. No problem. Kiara recommended you, if I recall correctly. Apparently you're also a fan of Metroid.
Don't worry, little girl. It'll all be over soon.
What was all that about? Was he trying to trash talk me? Now then, I'd like to proceed with a summary of events on the day in question. The incident occurred on the campus of Ivy University. The murder victim was a student named Doug Swallow. He was a 4th-year student studying pharmacology.
It sounds like he was a very bright young man.
Yes, well, next we have the photo taken at the scene of the crime. I think I've given Prosecutor Payne a Welsh accent by accident. Students discovered the scene shortly after the murder. They found the victim's body and the defendant, who had obviously bungled his getaway. They then called the police.
That certainly makes the defendant look very suspicious indeed. Very well. The court accepts this photo into the record as evidence.
Crime photo 1 added to the court record. The crime took place behind an IVU building.
By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death from this photo.
Your reputation for sagacity is well earned, Your Honour. The truth is that this victim died a rather unusual death. An unusual death?
What do you mean, Mr. Payne?
Well, perhaps the defence would like to take this question. Huh? A simple question. I thought it might loosen you up a bit. I'm a genteel man, if you will. A what? Stand up to him, Mia. Show me what we're made of.
Ah, a perfect opportunity. Well, what was it? The cause. Go on. Please say you know at least this much.
I'm so sorry. I didn't get a chance to read through the whole file. My hemorrhoids are beginning to act up.
Now, see here. The details of the case are filed under the court records.
But you knew that already, didn't you? Ah, the court records. I think I can see that by pressing tab.
All the weapons we need can be found in the court records. Take a good hard look at the data there and think carefully before you answer, my dear.
Yes, sir. I'll do just that. I've got to stay calm. I can't let that prosecutor get the better of me. The court records. Okay, let's take a look. I just pressed tab here. Doug's autopsy report. Date and time of death. 4th of the 9th at 3 PM. Cause of death was a fatal electric shock.
Now then, will the attorney for the defense please answer the question? What was the cause of death?
I mean, you could argue that if someone got an electric shock... Yeah. According to the court record, it was a fatal electric shock. You know the words? Electrocution. A term coined, slandered by, I've completely forgotten the guy's name. Oh. A term coined by Thomas Edison to slander one of his rivals, Tesla, by portraying alternating current as a potential cause of death. No, direct current as a deadly.
Electrocution? But how could such a thing happen? Did the murderer use some sort of new, super powerful stun gun, perhaps?
The answer to that will become crystal clear as this trial proceeds, Your Honour. But before that, there is one more vital issue. What's that? Why, motive, of course. Apparently there was some bad blood between the victim and the defendant.
Bad blood?
What do you mean?
Oopsie, I'm terribly sorry. You're the defense attorney, so you must know all about it. I shouldn't be stealing your spotlight like this.
I really don't like this guy's smug attitude.
That's Winston Payne for you. He's one smooth operator, if you catch my drift.
Okay, so Payne's basically a complete loser in all the previous games, so I guess this is where we get to break his spirit. Precisely, Jan. What a pain.
They don't call him the rookie killer for nothing, you know. Now then, let's hear from the defense. What was the source of the bad blood between the victim and the defendant? And this time, I'd like to see some supporting evidence.
Evidence?
No need to get all worked up over this. As I said, all our weapons can be found in the court records. Find the evidence you need, then shove it into old Great Beer's face.
Hey Amanda, how's it going? Yes, sir. Into old Great Beer's face.
Mr. Grossberg, try to set a better example for the young lady. Here, evidence isn't only in the court record. The only thing in the court records, people's profiles are as well. You can toggle between profiles and evidence with tab, so be sure to go all over it. Now then, let's see what you've got. What was the cause of bad blood between Phoenix Wright and the victim?
Pretty good. You're stretching out your Russian combat boots, comrade. Nice. Okay. Here we are. She seems trustworthy. The reason between the bad blood between the two of them was this woman here. My hair is very pretty today. Oh, thank you. I'm trying just a ponytail with a thin fringe. Or thin bangs.
Dahlia Hawthorne, is it?
Very good, Miss Fay. You seem to have picked up on this much. At least as much. This woman is the girlfriend of the defendant, Phoenix Wright. But up until about 8 months ago, she was with the victim, Mr. Swallow. Clearly has some part to play in this story.
He's done it again. Before the cross-examination starts, he's already got the judge thinking like he wants. Very well, Mr. Payne, please call your first witness.
If it pleases the cause, the prosecution would like to call Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What? The defendant himself? Well, Miss Fay?
It's fine. After all, Mr. Wright is innocent, right? You had an ex who looked like the Red Lady. Oh, that's her. Interesting. The defence has no objection.
Very well. The court calls Mr. Phoenix Wright to the witness stand.
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes. My name's Phoenix Wright. My job is, well, right now I guess I'm a suspect. No, he means what you did before you were arrested. Oh, achoo. I was a university student. Mr. Wright, you understand that you're a suspect in the death of your fellow student, Doug Swat. But I didn't do it. I'm innocent, I tell you. I'm telling you, I was... Will the defendant please refrain from passing on his cold to the rest of us?
This is really topical now. It seems the witness has something he wants to say.
Well then, Mr. Wright, please tell us about your relation to the victim.
Right away, Your Honour. The victim and I. Sounds like the lazy sequel to The King and I.
I admit I was there, but I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. Well, I say. I see. So you hardly knew the victim.
Right. Like I said, I'm not a killer. Whew. It looks like the judge understands. Yep. Hey, Sarah. And yes, Phoenix Wright is really sporting a 2020 look.
You're being naive, you know. Too naive.
Huh? It seems that you've forgotten one small thing, young lady. And that would be, this witness still has to undergo something called cross-examination. Cross-examination?
He's right, and it's the defence's duty to carry out the cross-examination. The purpose is to determine if a witness's testimony contains any contradictions.
Contradictions?
If a witness is lying, their statements will conflict with the court record.
But Mr. Wright is my client.
Even if he is your client, in court, all lies must be struck down. As a lawyer, that is your duty, you see. The entire series has borne us out. It's a perfect system. Nothing ever goes wrong.
What does he mean by that? Is he saying that testimony just now? That there was a lie? A contradiction? How are you doing today, Sarah, anyway?
Now then, your cross-examination, if you please, Miss Fay.
Please, Mr. Wright, tell me you haven't been lying. Hey, Talia. Oh, what's this? A lawyer bread? I object to that. Thanks for giving Talia a shout out, Kiara. Sarah, pretty good. Just chilling with Talia on Discord and watching the stream. Nice, nice. I don't believe Sarah streams. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? Ah, so you admit you were there. When you say you were there, you mean the place where the victim was murdered? Oh, thanks for the shout out, Talia. Don't know about this bisected brioche person, though. She sounds like a bit of a, you know, lesbo. Ah, and thanks for giving Kiara a shout out, Sarah.
Yeah, sort of. The place where something happened anyway.
Something? You can't hide what happened. We have photographic evidence. Kiara, even worse, Kiara. What is her deal? Big and adorable, that's what. Everyone follow Kiara. Anyway, Mr. Wright? What were you doing at the scene of the crime? I thought you said you didn't know the victim, Mr. Swallow.
It was just a coincidence. We bumped into each other by accident. A coincidence, huh?
You say they found the body, so who called the police?
Unfortunately, it was some other students that had notified the police.
Oh, thanks, Kiara.
Other students?
That's correct. They were witnesses. Witnesses who saw the defendant standing there next to the body in shock.
What? Is this true, Mr. Wright?
Sneezy, sneeze, sneeze. Could you stop sneezing every time you're in a bind?
Well, it's true that I was pretty shocked when I found the body.
I like that they gave Phoenix a cold for this one trial, just so he has a sort of witness gimmick.
But I...
So you didn't know his face or even his name, right?
Right. Well, no. That is, I mean...
So, which is it? Did you know him or not?
Now, see here, you can't avoid answering the question by sneezing all day. Watch me, Your Honor. Well, I guess I didn't know his name.
News to me? Why didn't he tell me that before?
I heard he used to date Dolly. Who's this Dolly person? Yes, I'll be the defendant's lover, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne, who apparently resembles one of, Amanda's exes. Oh, I see. Ah, young love, so bittersweet. But that's all I knew about him.
Mr. Wright, you stated the following in your testimony.
I hardly knew the guy to begin with. That's right. I mean, why'd I even...
Yes, Talia, the mask should go over his mouth. But that doesn't sound right. If you hardly knew him, then why would you say that your victim was a stuck-up British wannabe? I mean, for some reason we all sound British right now. Achoo! Well, Mr. Wright? No, it wasn't me. I'm not a killer, I swear. Mr. Wright, I'll give you an opportunity to revise your testimony. How is it that you knew the victim was, as you put it, a British wannabe? Well, you see, Your Honour, he was a huge fan of the Beatles. Yes, well... Did you see it at... Oh, he was always walking around with a big Union Jack on the back of his shirt. Did you see it at the crime scene? The Union Jack, I mean? Fun bit of trivia. While the British flag is usually called the Union Jack, it's technically only the Union Jack when it's being flown from a ship. Otherwise, it's the Union flag. But that already means something else. The other racist flag, you know? Yes, that's right. I saw it at the crime scene. That's why I figured he must love British stuff. See? It's true. Cross my heart. I swear I didn't do it. He's acting fishier than the salmon I ate last night. May I ask you something, Miss Fay? Yes, Your Honour? What is it now? Who is this person anyway? This Union Jack fellow? Wait, who is this person anyway? This Union Jack fellow? The Union Jack is the name of the United Kingdom's flag. I know because I clearly have a Birmingham accent. I apologise to everyone from Birmingham and the surrounding areas for my attempt at a Birmingham accent, by the way. Oh, I see. So you mean like the Stars and Stripes, right? As usual, Your Honour, your insight astounds me. Hey, something just occurred to me. Isn't there something strange about this bit just now? Mia, there's a contradiction here. Mr. Grossberg? Quickly now. Show that boy you mean business. With evidence, I mean. Okay, Mia. Check the court record carefully. Well, my dear, do you think you can manage on your own from this point? 1 year ago, I was in a courtroom just like this. I can do it. I can handle this myself. You mustn't try and bite off more than you can chew, Mia. I'll be fine. I know what I have to do. Remember, you can always press him to get more information. Oh, and one more thing. When you're going to state a contradiction, make sure you present some definitive proof. Okay, Mia. One more time, from the very beginning of his testimony. Okay, he's wearing a jacket in this photo, so how would he have seen it?
Objection!
Are you certain you saw the Union Jack? Yeah, I'm sure. He was right there on his back. Wrong, Mr. Wright. You are in fact looking at a tiny part of the Australian flag. Miss Fay, is there some point to this line of questioning? Your Honour, please take another look at this crime scene photo. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing on the victim's back. Hey, wait a minute. He's wearing a leather jacket.
The Union Jack was on the back of the t-shirt he was wearing.
I was under the impression you accidentally came across the body. But if that was really the case, then you wouldn't know that, would you? You'd have no idea what he was wearing underneath that jacket. Mr. Wright, you've been lying to me.
But please forgive me. Yeah, you've made our client cry. That was very mean of you.
Let him. The P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyway. I can't believe I trusted him. Mr. Wright was all wrong.
That was an impressive bit of cross-examination.
Thank you for uncovering the defendant's lies for me. It's quite clear that this man does not simply stumble upon the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. Did I go too far? Oh, hey, Jonah. Yep, it's dashing young Payne with his coif and everything.
Is coif? Is coif, mate?
And we got Phoenix here with his coif. They got a coif, and something similar sounding for Mia, I guess. Yep, a cold lad. Thanks for giving Jonah a shout out, Kiara. Oh, you've been playing Deltarune. Nice. Uh-oh. Did I go too far?
By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to have a rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it? Yeah, I took some, but...
Was the medicine you took an over-the-counter brand called Cold Killer X?
Yeah, that's right. It kills colds good. Hey, wait a second. How'd you know I'm a big fan of Cold Killer X?
Would you happen to have that medicine with you right now?
Well, actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere.
You lost it? Does this even have anything to do with the case? Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now? Your Honour, I'd like to take you to take another look at the photo from the crime scene.
What's this? In the victim's hand, it's... Cold Killer X. I can't believe the victim conspired to make Mr. Phoenix Wright here suffer from a cold.
Yes, but even I've got a bottle of Cold Killer X in my apartment. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that argument won't work. There's no doubt as to who this bottle of Cold Killer X belongs to. Especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints are all over it. What? Censoring his murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped by Mr. Wright and hid it in his hand. His purpose for doing so can only have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright. That's how people identify their murderers all the time. They just sort of steal their medication and hold it.
Order in this court.
Your Honour, I'd like to present this photo and bottle as evidence.
Very well. The court will accept them into the record.
Crime photo number 2 added to the court record. The victim's watch stopped at the time of death. Cold Killer X added to the court record. Found clutched in the victim's hand, covered in Wright's fingerprints. Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken.
Broken?
Yes, it ceased functioning when a large wave of electricity passed through it. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some kind of explanation for all this?
Yes,
most things don't work after you pass a high current through them. This is really bad.
Oh, my buttocks. My poor hemorrhoids.
This was a very interesting direction to take Grossberg's character in. What really happened?
The truth is, I went because he called me.
Isamia, does the victim look like Leon from Resident Evil?
He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45 behind that building. We talked for a bit, and then around 3 o'clock we split up. Then later when I went back, I found him lying there.
True, Jan, you can't say Grossberg without gross.
I'd been taking Cold Killer X for the last 2 or 3 days, but I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. Mr. Wright, that's completely different from the testimony you gave previously.
Sneeze, sneeze, sneeze.
I'm sorry, Your Honour. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth.
You'll forgive me if I hardly find your current testimony any more credible.
Miss Fay, please begin your cross-examination.
Please, Mr. Wright, don't tell any more lies. Tell me lies, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Had you ever met the victim before then?
No, never. But that day he called me up and told me he wanted to talk about Dolly. And this Dolly person is? It's kind of embarrassing. She's my, sweetheart. What was that for, Mia?
I'm so sorry. I just felt like slapping something all of a sudden.
Dania Horrorform was also the lover of the murder victim, Doug Swallow.
Before she met Mr. Wright, that is.
So it's one of those nasty love triangles, I see.
Was it Mr. Swallow who indicated you should meet at 2:45?
Yeah, and we're both there right on time.
Excuse me.
You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, correct? Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him the alchemist of IVU. An alchemist? I see. Did he understand the law of equivalent exchange? I've got to admit it was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. Plus, you know, all his research was in the form of shopping lists. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines that run on high voltage electricity. Oh, how fascinating. He sounds like he was quite an ambitious young man.
What do I do? Maybe I should ask him for some more details. So you're absolutely certain that you met at 2:45?
Yeah, pretty sure. That's the time class ends. But they were always doing experiments, so it doesn't matter much.
Experiments?
Yeah, those pharmacology guys are always in the lab whipping up something.
Well, it looks like he's right about the time anyway. Witness, let's go on with your testimony. So what was it you're talking about?
You know, as you cough, that maybe we should hang out again sometime.
Hang out again sometime? I wish that were true. So you say you went back?
Yeah, that's when I found the body.
Yes, but why did you go back in the first place? Weren't you angry with him?
Well, that's right, I was.
Then why, Mr. Wright? Why did you go back there?
I thought maybe we could make up.
Judging by the atmosphere, I'm pretty sure no one is buying this. It's rather unusual to catch a cold this time of year, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm always a little careless with when the weather starts to warm up. I guess I shouldn't sleep with the window open this early in spring, huh?
I suppose common sense is not always common. So, did anyone else know that you were taking cold medication?
Well, I always took one after meals, so I'm pretty sure my friends knew about it.
Sorry about all the yawning. On the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch?
Huh? What does that have to do with anything?
You can never be too sure.
I always eat with Dolly. Just the two of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. Her mini omelettes are magically delicious. Why'd you punch me in the jaw?
I'm so sorry. I just felt like hurting someone all of a sudden.
Well, Mia?
I don't know. I can't seem to find any contradictions.
The boy isn't exactly what I'd call a natural-born liar, you know. But still, we can't have him continue to spout nonsense.
I know, but what can I do?
Well, I'm certain he must still be hiding something. Information right now is information we need more than anything else.
I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the pharmacology department.
Well, okay, sure. I don't know all that much, though.
A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said the department uses strange machines that run high-voltage electricity.
That's right, and they sure look dangerous. They use non-standard voltages, so there are high-voltage cables everywhere.
High-voltage cables?
Yeah, there are electrical poles set up all around the building. The high-voltage cables run overhead around the roof.
Finally, I think we're getting somewhere.
I think that's enough for now. So the defendant and the victim met up at approximately the time of his death. And then the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason.
I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the medicine bottle either.
Let me be frank here, Mr. Wright. Your testimony cannot be trusted. What do you mean?
I knew it was too much work for a little girl.
However, there is one mystery that still remains.
There is, Your Honor.
How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct?
Well, that is, you're correct, Your Honor. So how exactly was Mr. Swallow killed? If I could somehow establish how it was done, maybe I could still come out of this mess smelling like a rose. Your Honor?
Yes, Miss Fay?
I believe that if we were to piece everything together... I believe that if we were to piece together everything we've heard up until now, we should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died.
That'd be most impressive.
Quite the brash statement coming from a rookie. But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of the court, yes? An attorney must be able to substantiate their arguments with evidence. Of course I know that. Actually, I had totally forgotten about that.
Now then, Miss Fay, let me see what you've got. Show me how you believe the victim was electrocuted.
I mean, like, there's literally broken power cables there. It's not rocket science. As for the cause of death, I'd say this picture captures it quite well.
What? But there's nothing that even remotely resembles a murder weapon here. I'm afraid the defense is going to have to explain this in a bit more detail. Miss Fay, where exactly in this photo is the murder weapon?
Well, naturally, it's right here.
That's... What is that?
A severed electrical cable, I believe, Your Honour. Remember the testimony we heard? The machines the pharmacology students use in their experiments require high voltage. And because of that, there are special high voltage cables strung up everywhere.
So then, the high voltage cable?
Yes, the high voltage cable is the cause of death. That is the most likely explanation.
That certainly sounds plausible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I believe some praise is in order. Don't toy with me, old man.
Now, the victim's cause of death may indeed have been high voltage cable. However, I want you to think about what that really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use the cable as a murder weapon was Gordon Freeman, the defendant. That much is certainly true.
Yes, and that's not all. We have proof. Irrefutable proof that will establish that Mr. Wright was the murderer. Okay, thanks for dropping by, Frost Sugar Rust. Happy luck, and it's nice meeting you too. I'll try and catch one of your streams soon. I apologise for all the yawning.
You do? Well, what is it?
Hey Nick, how's it going? Oh, look what my chat can do now. You're looking up siege engine rules for some reason. Of course you are. Just as a reminder, that stream's going to be on Nick's YouTube channel in about an hour and a half. I mean, it's an evil campaign with disposable characters, but somehow I'm still terrified.
You do? Well, what is it?
Here's fingerprints.
Fingerprints? You mean that the defendant's fingerprints were on something besides the medicine bottle? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, the victim is wearing a leather jacket. As you may know, leather holds fingerprints quite well. It was a plot point in the first game after all.
You mean?
Yes, it was quite clearly imprinted on the chest area of the victim's jacket. The palm print of the defendant's very own hand. What? I can think of only one way Mr. Wright could have left a print like that. Intent on murder, he squarely pushed the victim towards the severed electric cable. Order! 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 That's enough! I think we can conclude that there's no reason to continue with this cross-examination. Stick a fork in us. We're done.
But Mr. Grossberg?
Oh, my hemorrhoids never lie. The show is over, Mia.
Grossberg and his magic hemorrhoids. Is that a Death Stranding spin-off?
I knew that boy was guilty from the first time I saw him.
No, you're wrong. Mr. Wright is innocent. Look at him. He's literally in a penny.
No further evidence is required to convince me of this man's guilt.
Oh, we're about halfway. Well, since the background music is silent at the moment, this is the perfect opportunity for... That's the good stuff. Your Honour.
At this time, I'm prepared to render a verdict in this case. Do you have something further to add, Miss Fay?
Is this what you want, Mr. Wright? You still haven't told us the truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand down his verdict.
But I can't. I just can't say it. If I told you what really happened, then I'd be...
It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney. You can trust me.
Miss Fay?
No matter what it is you have to say, I believe in you and I'll represent you to the very end.
We've already established the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything. Wait a minute.
Mr. Wright.
I'll tell you what really happened.
But I've already told you, Mr. Wright. There's no need for further...
I did it. I admit it. I pushed him.
Well, that's the end of the series then. Turns out the Phoenix Wright was convicted for murder and executed all along, and this has been and the series so far has been his dying dream.
It's my fault. My fault that Doug Swallow is dead.
Yep, all the edgy theories were true, Nick.
That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying.
Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about her.
Stop it. Don't talk about her like that.
Okay, Phoenix is actually pretty strong. Then again, I suppose he's canonically knocked down at least one door.
What you just said? Was that the truth? Yes, I was afraid. Afraid that if I told the truth, everyone would think I was the murderer for sure. Well, as things currently stand, we're all absolutely convinced you are. But please give me one more chance to explain. This time I swear I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it, Miss Faye? I believe in you.
Oh, thank you. The Green Owl wants me to study Welsh. Boyo? I still can't believe it. He really did push the victim.
It feels like my hemorrhoids doing the Harlem Shake. Oh, this reference is going to age this game's script.
Yep, imagine that feeling, Nick. This was written before the Harlem Shake meme even started, apparently. Wow. When I pushed the victim...
That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly. Flawless victory. I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to get worried. So I went back, but he was just lying there, dead. Murdered. And someone was responsible. Well, the explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electric cable. I don't mean you pushed him really hard. I mean, literally, the act of shoving him caused him to grow wings, and he flew into it, testing them out. All very tragic. He died from the shock, and that, as they say, is that. A simple explanation indeed. At the time of the incident, a light rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted. But when I pushed him, there weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, even I would have noticed it.
That's true. Even a doofus like him couldn't miss that. I really pity whoever ends up as his mentor.
Miss Faye? Let me warn you right now that if your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts, I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear on that?
Yes, Your Honour. Don't give up, Mia. If he is innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that will prove it. Okay, what have we got here then? So, what kinds of things did Mr. Swallow say to you?
He said all sorts of terrible things about Dolly. He said that she was a bad girl. Is that all? Yep. Well, Miss Faye, you heard him yourself.
Oh boy, you're not doing yourself any favours here, Mr. Wright. Please don't make this harder for me than it already is.
Anyway, after you said that, I just...
Can you tell me about what happened in a little more detail?
That guy, he just said what he wanted to say to me. And then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. That's when I lost my temper and flew into a furious frenzy. I just gave him a light, gentle shove to the chest.
And when you did that, there was no severed cable anywhere to be seen.
Right. There was nothing like that at all. But is it possible you merely overlooked it? Well, I guess it's possible.
What are you doing? Didn't let that guy steamroll over you like cheap asphalt?
I believe that what's important here is the moment the push occurred. Let's continue on with the testimony, witness.
A loud noise? And what would you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright?
I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like, snap. You know, come to think of it, I wonder what that was.
Clearly, Your Honour, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted. Yep, you're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? I'm treading on some dangerous ground here. Time to save, scum. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important, so try to remember what it was.
How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack. Could it have been?
Yes, could it have been? Hurry up and tell us.
When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. Knockout. He fell right on top of it and it broke. That's probably the noise I heard. An umbrella, huh? And did that umbrella belong to the victim? Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella. Cheap and frail, kind of like the owner. Then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone. Miss Faye? What do you think? Is there something important in that testimony just now?
Well... This is it, Mia. The new information you've been waiting for. Of course it's important. No, this cheap umbrella is more than important, it's vital. I want to officially have it entered into the testimony.
How perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer. The court agrees to the defence's request. Witness, please add the bit about the cheap umbrella to your testimony.
Fell down on his cheap umbrella, so that's what they're calling it these days. So, Mr. Swallow fell on top of his umbrella, and you're certain of this?
Yeah, it was right there under him. Actually, if it hadn't been under him, I was planning on borrowing it for myself.
The umbrella, you mean?
Well, yeah. You see, I was wearing this sweater here. Dolly stayed up late for night this time knitting it for me. I didn't want the rain to dampen the handmade symbol of her love. My stomach is not to be used as your personal soccer ball, Mia.
I'm so sorry.
Continue on with your testimony, witness.
Mia is such an ace. Mood. After you shoved the victim, did you leave the scene right away?
Yes, I did. I admit it. I was furious. You left without even checking on Mr. Swallow's condition? Well, yeah. But like I said, I got worried about him later.
At that time, did you see anyone else at the scene of the crime?
No. Nobody.
Geez, could that stupid cough possibly sound any phonier?
In that case, it's very hard to believe someone else could have been the murderer. Unless we can find something that shows his innocence from that testimony, my dear. I'm afraid the judge will make his final decision with no remorse whatsoever.
Yes, sir. Right now I need more info. Info that'll help me turn up some contradictions. Okay, I guess the umbrella was added for a reason, so... Okay, so the umbrella's nearby. Why didn't you testify about the umbrella from the very beginning?
Come on, if I'd mentioned that.
I would have been able to counter the prosecution's arguments earlier.
What do you mean by that?
Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's by the electrical pole.
You are absolutely right.
The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive.
No. My coif. Order! 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 The victim, he moved. Mr. Payne? The umbrella in this photo, where is it now?
Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene.
I want it presented as evidence immediately.
Umbrella added to the court record. Owned by the victim. Found broken near an electrical pole at the crime scene.
But the umbrella could have simply been blown there by the wind.
According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind.
I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as the smallest iota remains, I cannot render final judgment. No. I must say, I still find it hard to believe that a huge hole has been blown in the prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony.
Phoenix's testimony added to the court record. The victim fell on top of his umbrella. There was a loud sound when this happened.
Well done, Mia. Mr. Payne, what are you chuckling about?
Pardon me, Your Honour. It seems I was expecting too much of a free ride. It was foolish to think I could establish guilt through cross-examination alone.
I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying.
Let me guess. You have another witness.
Exactly. And this witness's testimony will be uncontrovertible. Well, who is this witness? Miss Delia Hawthorne. Delia Hawthorne? You don't mean Dolly? The sheep?
I do, Your Honour. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to the whole thing.
That's right.
She was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place.
What?
I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear. Bad news? You couldn't be more wrong. Uh-oh, she's smirking. Actually, I've been waiting for this.
You can't be serious.
Nick, you feel like this should have come out during Discovery, to be honest? To be fair, it's canonically established that the trial basically is Discovery in the Phoenix Wright verse, slash the Japanese legal system. Which this, of course, isn't, because it's clearly set in America.
Mia, what do you mean by that? I think this is a good point for us to stop at. Court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we'll listen to the testimony of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Dahlia Hawthorne.
April the 11th, 11:52 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3.
Miss Faye, I'm sorry about what happened back there.
It's alright. At least you told us the truth in the end, Mr. Wright.
Yeah, so I guess I can start to relax then, huh? Relax, my boy? You can't be serious. After hiding such important facts? That's 5 years minimum for perjury. Your life is as good as over. But the next witness is my Dolly, right? She'll save me. I just know she will.
Why do you think that?
Huh? What do you mean? She's the love of my life, that's why.
The love of your life, huh? Would you mind telling me more about you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne?
Sure, no problem. Dolly and I, we first met about 8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse. Actually, I'm studying to be a lawyer on the side. Anyway, one day she and I just bumped into each other in the reading room downstairs. That's why I really think it was fate that brought us together. As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she was the one for me. Oh, here, take a look at this. She gave this to me the day we met as a symbol of our love. She'd been wearing it around her neck that day, but then she took it off. But before she gave it to me, she said, I want you to carry this. So she gave it to you as a present. I see. This darling little bottle is filled with my memories of my darling little Dolly.
It certainly is a little bottle, alright.
It makes me so happy I share it to everyone I meet. I want to share my happiness with the whole world.
Dahlia's present borrowed from Phoenix Wright. A small bottle necklace given to Wright on the day they met. He shows it to everyone. Anyway. So after that, you and Miss Hawthorne started dating.
Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now. What a strange girl, asking for a present back like that.
By the way, Mr. Wright, the day you first met Dahlia Hawthorne, 8 months ago, it wouldn't have to have been on August the 27th, would it? Uh-oh.
Huh? Yeah, it was. But how did you...
This happened on August the 27th, right here in this courthouse.
What's this? A newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder in the courthouse. Murder? What are you reading there? Let me see that. Oh, I see. Mia, I think I understand what you're trying to say. And I think I understand why you suddenly took such a keen interest in this case. You believe there is some connection between these two cases, am I correct?
Newspaper clipping added to the court records. An article from the 28th of the 8th, almost 8 months ago. Oh, thanks for the posture check and hydrate, Sarah. hope you don't mind, Mr. Grossberg. Oh, that's actually made everything a lot easier on my voice, so thanks for that. I need to finish this myself.
Ah, yes, but I'm afraid what you'll have will not be enough, my dear. I'll go and have a look in the downstairs reading room and see what else I can find.
Thank you.
I want to do whatever I can to be of help to you, Mia. Well, it looks like the recess is about over. We'd better all get moving.
I guess so. That recess sure seemed longer than 20 minutes, though. To be continued. Let's see, an hour and 10 minutes. Oh, we can go on a bit longer. April the 11th, 12:13 PM, District Court, Courtroom Number 2.
Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, please call your witness. This next person is someone who witnessed the crime as it happened. The prosecution calls Miss Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand.
I don't know why I keep saying Delia. Well, she looks so adorable, she's probably evil. But what's this stiff silence?
In my long career as a judge, I've been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity.
I can't believe he actually said that.
Oh, now then, witness, can you please state your full name? Don't worry, sweetie. There's no need to be nervous.
If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them down right down to size.
And I'll bash them with my gavel.
I love how they look straight at me when they say that. Pictured. How male TERFs talk about cis women and transgender women. Oh, thank you for calming my nerves. You're also nice. I almost feel right at home.
Not at all. It was nothing.
If we may move on now, what is your full name and occupation? My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say, it's an honour for me to be here in your noble presence.
The honour is all mine. No, the honour is all mine.
Well, we know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Sir? Is there something I can help you with?
You just go and say whatever's on your mind.
I'm sure there must be some kind of mistake. Feeny wouldn't kill anyone. I just know it.
Yes, I can see why you'd say that.
She's going to be a tough witness, all right. It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger.
Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please.
What I witnessed. I've been planning to go back to Feeney's place after class was over. Feeny and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. That's when Feeny noticed that I was there. I went to go and find some other students, and they called the authorities.
I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, the defendant didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, trial over. Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn.
Nevertheless, it's my job to discover the truth. Please tell us the truth.
But I would never... That's more than enough, witness. I won't allow this to continue.
What do you mean by that?
Please, just let me proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honour. I, for one, don't plan to win my case on a bunch of paper-thin lies. You haven't changed a bit, Mia Fey.
What's this? So you two are acquainted?
Yes, we've met before. Once.
In any case, Miss Fey, the floor is all yours.
It's good to see you again, Madam Fey. Madam, I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie. Now, unless I'm mistaken, Feeney, Mr. Wright, is in the art department. If that's the case, then what were you doing by the pharmacology building? Well, I'm in the literature department. I'm studying Japanese senryu poetry.
Oh, how wonderful! Is that humorous yet satirical style of haiku, yes?
Nothing left to do when a man reaches this age. Sleep is his best friend. That's supposed to be poetry? Sounds more like a midlife crisis. For me to get to the art department, I have to walk through that back area.
Ah, yes, that makes sense. When I want to enter the courthouse, I always walk through the front doors.
How else would you enter? Teleportation? So who's this Dougie person? Oh, I'm sorry. Doug Swallow. We were dating until about 8 months ago. So what were Dougie, Mr. Swallow and Mr. Wright talking about anyway? How can you be so mean? I would never eavesdrop. I wasn't raised to be so rude and unrefined.
That's right, Miss Fey. Don't drag the witness down to your level.
Why am I being demonised here?
Please go on. What do you see next?
Are you saying the victim just collapsed on his own? Yes? In other words, the defendant never touched the victim. Is that right? I was watching the whole time. Feeney never did a thing to Dougie. If I press her for no good reason, I just know the judge will get angry with me. So what should I do about her testimony just now? I mean, Phoenix's fingerprints are literally on the guy's jacket, so... Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we? But what? I would never. Hey, Nolus. Oh, hi from the airport. Okay, thanks for dropping by anyway. I think you're accompanying your mum, so hope that's going well. And have a lovely evening.
Miss Fey, I will not allow you to badger this witness. I believe the defence is engaged in a fishing expedition. That is, she has no supporting. But please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job.
Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did, in fact, push the victim. What? There's no need to try and cover for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth.
There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything that you saw.
Yes, Your Honour. I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony. Looks like we're finally getting somewhere. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. You didn't see it? Well, I saw the moment when Dougie fell to the ground.
And at that time, there was only 2 of them at the scene. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and the victim, Doug Swallow.
Yes, that's right. It didn't look like they were fighting, and I didn't hear anything unusual either. So then, what did it look like they were doing to you? I thought they were having a nice friendly afternoon conversation. Oh, give me a break. That's why I really wasn't watching them all that closely.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all?
No, nothing at all, Mr. Judge.
Oh, I like the sound of that, Mr. Judge. Now then, please proceed with your testimony.
When you say students, do you mean other students from the pharmacology department? Yes, they're all very fond of their drugs. Please try to stay on topic. So, to find some pharmacology students, you went to the labs, correct? That's what I was planning to do, but in the end I wound up not going. A group of about 10 research students came running out of the building entrance. Somehow they all seemed to know what was going on. The students knew what was going on. But how could the students have known what was going on? Well, I don't know for sure that they knew what had happened. It's just that they all seemed kind of excited about something. It doesn't look like I'm going to get any more info about the students.
So, did the students call the police?
Yes. I was so panicked.
Yes, well, anyone would have been, my dear.
That girl. She's telling a super obvious lie and she knows it. She's just pretending to protect Mr. Wright. Yes, that's got to be it. Way to go, Mia. Okay, that means I'm going to have to dig deep to find the contradiction on this one. Okay. Ah. The umbrella made a loud snap, so... You say you didn't hear anything unusual. Is that correct? Yes, that's why I was very relaxed, looking at the scenery around me. That's nice, but I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and he clearly testified to the effects that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise. He said that? If you're really that close to the 2 of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well? Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable. But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression. May I have a moment to answer?
By all means.
I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on and I was listening to music at the time.
Headphones? You mean that both your ears were covered?
The rain was just beginning to let up, but it seemed as though fall wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble. Thunder and lightning, huh? Very, very frightening. Yes, I'm afraid of the sound of thunder, so I put my headphones on to block it out. Well, Your Honour, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all. Wait a sec, Mia. That testimony just now. She said something that could totally change this whole case. Okay. She didn't hear anything. She was listening to music. There was lightning. Your Honour, there's a problem with the witness's testimony.
What do you mean?
Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct?
Yes, what about it?
Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere. Am I right? Hey, Kiara, I'm British. I'm legally obliged to make references to any of Freddie Mercury's work.
Now's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Fay.
Yes, Your Honour. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning? Something, struck by a lightning bolt.
Oh, I must admit, the thought had not occurred to me.
Just what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy, anyway? This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defence believes that Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt. He was just irritating the DM so much.
It appears the defence may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental?
Alright, you did it, Mia. I'll be taking that not guilty now if you don't.
I'm hurt you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Fay.
Huh?
I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honour. We found that there were no lightning strikes on that day at that location.
What?
What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case. Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what's this evidence?
This affidavit.
And who's this affidavit from?
The pharmacology students who were conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read out to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden at 3 PM that day.
Was it a blackout?
All the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honour. So you're saying the equipment lost power because?
Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 PM, which fits with the time of death listed in the autopsy report.
Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electric cable. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future.
I see.
Apparently the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break. Students' testimony added to the court records. The old power cable broke due to some sort of impact on the 4th of the 9th at 2:55 PM.
However, there's one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct?
Well, I suppose you could say that.
Miss Fay? Do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable?
Your Honour? I don't like how this is looking one bit. have to come up with something to try and regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defence would like to state its opinion.
Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break?
Okay. Could have been the umbrella. This is it. This is why the cable snapped.
Well, Your Honour, I believe the only thing that snapped is the mind of the defence.
Ah, that was one of your best lines yet, Your Honour. That was harsh. Please, Your Honour, give me one more chance.
Well then, let's hear it.
Okay, I guess I have to say the victim hit the cable. This is it. This is why the cable snapped. Well, Your Honour. Okay, same dialogue. Okay. At least the judge isn't handing off penalties. That's true, Jan. You know what? I'm just going to take a stab in the dark and say it was... Okay, maybe not. I guess I can just keep doing this until, I guess I just have to accuse my clients. Your Honour, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony.
The defendant's testimony?
He said that after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this all happened at around 3 PM, correct?
Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that...
The lab equipment lost power at 2:55 PM, which fits right into Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage.
Yes, the prosecution also came to the same conclusion.
And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted. I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne.
What's that supposed to mean?
Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electric pole. That's right. The victim banged into that pole as the result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break.
Well, that makes sense. And the victim was electrocuted.
I'm sorry, Your Honour, but no. It doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by this severed cable in the foreground here.
Huh?
In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim.
Order! Order in the court!
The lamentations of my enemy. How have I longed to hear them.
It's true. The defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any...
Mr. Judge, sir, may I say something? The Madam Attorney's explanation. She said some things that are a little different than I remember them.
What? Yeah?
What the? Please, just once more. May I please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge? Of course, it's alright. Just go right ahead and give me your new testimony. Okay, it's about 10 to 7, so I'm going to call it here. This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colours. Oh, glad you enjoyed it, Jan. Anyways, glad you enjoyed it, Kiara. Anyways, there's the link to Nick's YouTube channel if you want to catch the D&D stream later. There should be a reminder option for the actual stream itself. I'll find someone to raid and then I'll head off and get ready for it. You're welcome, Nick. I'll see you in about 30 minutes. And this time I'll actually be on time. Or will I? So yep, aside from being on Nick's stream later, I'll be back on Monday with more Wildfire. So there's that to look forward to. I'm going to be working, I've got a few other... Well, I've got some non-streamed games I'm playing over the weekend, so... Don't know if I'll be able to make any cosplay progress, but as always, you can follow my Twitter to learn more about that. If you're interested in Wildfire, the first stream's already up on my YouTube channel. BisectedBrioche streams. Which, thinking about it, I really should have put a link to. Actually, wait, yeah, you can actually find a link there below. Oh, glad you've been enjoying it, Nick. I've been waiting a while to stream it. I actually got a pretty nice tweet from the dev when I mentioned it, so... Oh, thanks for the link, Nick. Anyways... Katie Angel Witch is streaming Metroid Fusion, so we'll give them a raid. Because, you know, I have to raid Metroid stuff. Well, that's all then. Possibly see you over on Nick's channel. If not, hopefully see you Monday. And have a lovely evening. We're reading in 3, 2, 1, and let's go.